Hi friends, so I am working on like just a little add-on thing for one of the journals I'm upcycling. I have this book that I've already pulled the pages out of and prepped the covers, and I've made pages for it. I've got some lined pages with a decal edge, but I wanted to reuse a couple of the illustrations from the original book. So I got this like little vellum-y kind of wrapper and wanted to reuse it in this book. I've never done anything like this before, so I just kind of picked out the pictures that I wanted, and I'm gonna show you kind of the thought process and how I take this, piece of upcycled vellum and turn it into something that's gonna go into the book. So I just picked 3 illustrations that I liked from the book, and I kind of looked at how I wanted to reuse the folds, or like stick with the folds that are already created on this book. So the first thing I'm going to do is separate it right here. Let me move these guys out of the way. So I want to cut off this little section. So for one of the things, I'm going to have a big piece here that this one's going to go onto. And then this will just be like a little tab flap that goes to the back side of it, on the other side of the pages. So whoever buys this journal might want to use that tab as something they can add their own art or illustration into it, but it'll help secure it into the book. And then so then I have this spaced out. So I want to cut this down to size a little bit more. And so this I'm going to set aside. So we've got one done. The next one I'm going to do is, let's see, I wanted to do one more that's kind of like that. So this will be the tab for that. And I've already marked where I need to cut it. And I'm going to cut, get stuff lined up here. I'm going to cut, I thought about cutting these flaps off just to get them all out of the way, but I think what I'm going to do is cut this piece to size and then save this piece with the flaps, because then I could reuse it for the future, because that's 2 different folds right there that I might be able to use that for something else. I have another book from the same series, and I am going to upcycle that next, so I might save that to use in the next one. Okay, and then I do want to cut these flaps off because I'm just going to use this primary flap here. And okay, so that one is going to be for this little guy. And then I have this one last one. I have to decide if I'm going to use this. This is the part that I can't decide about, because I don't think that that is a strong enough little tab. So I may end up using, you know what, I'm going to use this piece that I set aside. I think I'm going to use this one and make a skinnier tab there. Okay, perfect. So set this stuff aside. And what I'm going to do first is, this has a little sticky, like double-sided tape here. So I'm going to cut that off just because it was getting stuck to things while I was handling it. So I'm gonna get that out of the way. Okay, now I'm gonna take this and lay it out and mark it. I'm gonna mark it just right about here. All right, I probably will save that piece too, just for a future project. And I've got this one now. All right, so I've got my 3, and I think double-sided tape is going to be the best way to attach these. I'm not sure that PVA, which is the glue I typically use, I just don't think PVA is going to hold it onto this kind of slippery one. So, and because you can see through the back, I'm gonna just be not very generous with my tape. I want to make it kind of like look nice if you see it. So I just want to do a couple little squares on each, because it will hold it, and that way you're not seeing like huge tape lines through the vellum. And this isn't really vellum, you know, this is just like a little sheeting, but that's what people typically tend to call it, but it's not fancy vellum. Okay, so this is good to be able to see my grid lines. And it's also nice that I don't have a lot of tape, because I can kind of adjust it before. So we've got the first one done. I'll move on to this one. I think this one I'm going to kind of justify a little bit higher, but I'm just going to do the exact same thing for all of these. These upcycled books, I have kind of a general plan for them, but you never kind of know what you're going to want to put in or where they're going to go. This one I really wanted to do lined pages, because I've been doing a lot of blank pages recently, and I kind of went back and forth about a decal edge versus not a decal edge on the pages, but I put it up on Instagram polls, and people generally seem to like the idea of a decal edge, and I'm happy with how it came out too. So I'm just realizing I should round the corners on these, because this is looking kind of weird. So I'll go back and do that after I'm done with this. But this is kind of the whole process of it. You know, it's not a you don't go into it, it's not a cut and dry process where you just know, okay, I'm going to start at point A and I'm going to get to point Z, and these are the steps along the way that always happen. You know, sometimes stuff pops up, and the more you sit and think about what you're using and what you want the book to look like, it kind of evolves over time. So this one I definitely did not intend to reuse all these illustrations at the get-go, but then I kind of started thinking yesterday about this vellum-y material and wanted to include it in this. So here we are. All right, So there we go. So we have these little flaps we'll add in, and so you can barely see the tape through the back side. So we've got these 3 little ones, and we will add them in to this book, and I will show you the results in another video.